Welcome back, Team Starlight. We are here with the last week of Edison, with Jia Hao on the left playing Vayu Turbo, and me on the right also playing Vayu Turbo. Joining us today is Declan.
What is up? Vayu Turbo on Vayu Turbo action. I'm pumped.
Yeah, everyone's favorite matchup.
We've got the Team Starlight mat, not trademarked, on the right, but Albert, I know you picked this one out just because it has our logo colors.
Yeah, exactly. It's been my latest mat. But here I set a monster, set a back row, pass it back. Jia Hao's graveyard is already set up, and he looks like he has a stacked hand. He has Plague, Return, Gale, and I think Armageddon Knight. So he has a lot of potential plays here.
Yeah, great normal summon and plenty of one-ofs. Okay.
So he goes for the Vayu play, summons Armed Wing, and I activate Bottomless. Here we did a little jump cut because he thought for a while if he wanted to activate the Solemn, but he did. So this Armed Wing is sticking. He pitches Plague Spreader with his Greffer.
Interesting. He could have opted to just normal summon that and make a Stardust or something, because often that set's gonna be a Raikou or a Hamster, in which case that's gonna be really good. But it looks like he's going for the more aggressive play, which involves stacking and especially the Gale.
Yeah, he did some math that I cut out. So I think he was trying to go for a game shot, but unfortunately I had the Necro Garden set. So he has to rethink his play a little bit.
Wait, so because he had Armageddon Knight which would have given him enough to go for game.
I think he has another Vayu, right? That's what he sent to the grave. Yeah, so he has a Vayu and Armed Wing and Grave, but he just goes in for a ton of damage and I drop Gores.
Yeah, if that's the case, then I think he made the right play. Often usually you're gonna be in the right to go for game, but you had it all. You had the Gores, you had the set Necro to protect from game in multiple ways, so now it's looking super rough for Jia Hao.
Yeah, and I kind of grief a little bit and set a Raikou, and he Dark Ends it.
Wait, why didn't you attack over the Dark End?
It's at 21, and he halved my Gores with Gale.
Right. Okay. Got it.
So then he just goes in for an attack, and I have Mirror Force set, so I just out his real Armor Master and his Darkened Dragon. But his Grave is still stacked, so he still has a lot of plays, and he has Return in hand, so he still has a lot of crackback.
Could have made the big one, like the 2800 one, but maybe he was scared of like a Caius or something.
Yeah, he's also pretty low in health. He did pay half his life points. Yeah, and I just opted to attack his face down. I didn't switch Gorzen to attack. I didn't want to get blown out by Mirror Force. And then I just set another monster, pass it back. And he goes for the Vayu play. And then he goes for a return play. So here he's just trying to close out the game.
Is pumping just enough here? I see a Sirocco, and you got plenty of Blackwing names.
Well, I have Necro Garden and Grave.
Right. Always forget about that.
And here a slight, it could have mattered. Luckily, it doesn't, but I forgot to pay half his life points for the return play. But we'll see how that unravels. And here he's thinking if he wants to go in to Black Rose or just start attacking. And here I'm thinking if I Necro, I don't know if it was the right monster to Necro. I was thinking I just want force his bigger monsters to attack. So I just Necro his attack into the token. So now he has to use his Armor Master because his Sirocco's not big enough.
Oh, the Gores is halved. Okay, that's why Sirocco can get over it. So now he just has You have a set monster. He has the Plague and the Vayu yet to attack. He's going to attack with the Plague. Doesn't want to commit. Okay, but he goes for it. And now you're
Yeah,
gonna
here-
think.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a good player, so I had to really think out my plays here. I have a Raikou set, and I'm thinking what to destroy, and I go for the Silver Wind because that's the only card that's gonna stick. Because it wasn't brought back, or it's he brought it with
Off
value,
return.
so yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Everything else was brought back with return, so if he wants to keep everything in grave, he's gonna have to nuke his own board with Black Rose, which it's exactly what he's going for.
That's a good play. Now you have like, oh, he's not even gonna summon stuff though. Yeah, interesting. Okay, so you go Armageddon Knight.
Yeah, and again, he should be at 2k here. I don't think this would have changed my play a whole lot because I would have still attacked with Armed Wing first because I would have just feared Hamster. But he should be
Right.
at, yeah, he should be a lot lower. He should be at 600 now. As we saw earlier, his graveyard is pretty stacked, so he's going for
But
another value play.
at this point, it comes down to like, what does he run enough copies of certain Blackwing monsters? But
Right.
he's like running low. But
And
it looks like
yeah,
he's on he gets another Armed Wing and he still has an Armor Master left.
yeah, and I'm checking. I have a bottom list, so I'm just checking how many darks he has. And he still has Plague Spreader in grave. So my thought process is I think I want a bottom list because I don't want him to go for a Plague Spreader play.
Yeah, because then if he goes Stardust and then if he goes for Stardust Dragon and then can special summon out the Armor Master, he can just get over everything you have. So that makes a lot of sense to me, anyway.
Yeah, so now he's forced to go into another value play, and he goes into Armor Master and attacks over my Armageddon Knight. And now I'm really low in life.
Damn, this is super good game. So you're on 3 cards, he's on 2 cards, but you're lower because of math errors.
Yeah, and he has used a lot of his real traps like Bottomless or Deep Prison, so that could be anything back there. And I opt to go for Thought Ruler.
Interesting.
And it goes through. So it's not a Bottomless. It could be a Deep Prison. And yeah, he just ends up scooping it up. And the set was a trap to does shoot, so it was just a bluff.
Huge
Here we are, game 2.
1 win going second. So now you're going to go second again. Gia, how T sets passes.
Yeah, this is really awkward in the Vayu Turbo Mirror match or like any Hamster Raikou Kai's deck is when they T-set and then you have a Raikou and you always, think like if that's a Raikou and I set my Raikou, I'm just, it sucks, but sometimes you have to do it and hope it's not the Raikou.
I was going to ask, like, how do you determine when you go for it? Do you just like randomize when you do it, or is it like if it's your only play, you just have to do it?
Here, I had Greffer in hand, and I could have summoned Greffer and like pitched, but I didn't want to hit into a Raikou.
Or a hamster.
And then just like leave, a hamster, and then just leave a body up and, give him potential plays for crackback. So I opted to hold the Greffer.
Okay, but now you're gonna go for it. Makes sense. And then let's see if you're gonna extend a little bit. Okay, heavy now. Interesting. Why hold heavy? Why not just heavy and then summon Greffer?
Is I'm okay if like Greffer eats a Bottomless, and he did in Bottomless, so I figured it must be a Deep Prison, or if it is a Bottomless, he's holding it, and I wanted that Armed Wing to stick.
Right.
I think my hand's also not the best. I have 2 DD Crows in hand, and I forget what that set is. But yeah, it was another Bottomless.
Interesting. I see Dad, Caius, Greffer in his hand. I don't know if he has too many darks in his graveyard based on what he milled. I would imagine he probably does. Otherwise, maybe you would want to just like try to get the Dad live in some capacity.
Yeah, and here's like my biggest fear is I attack into a hamster.
Interesting. Okay, so he's gonna flip the Raikou, target the Greffer. I wonder if the right play is to just Caius the Greffer and save your Raikou, because I know that in the grind game, like just having a Raikou for like their back row can be better sometimes. Not sure though.
Yeah, his hand, as we saw, is pretty good, so I don't know. Maybe he thought that was the best play. But I charge for another Raikou, and I set a back row, set the Raikou.
Yeah, because in this position, he would have still had a set Raikou, and so that would have made it like really awkward for you, and he would have had a Caius on board, but it might not even matter, because we're seeing the Dark Arm, and it's live, and you have no response.
Yeah, I wasn't keeping track of his grave, because I did have 2 DD Crows, so I probably should have hit something just to keep him off 3, but I was not paying attention.
This is looking curtains.
Yeah, he drops a Kaiku on me too, so he's just banishing cards in my grave now. I draw for turn. I think that's a Gale. And yeah, I just scoop it up. So game 3. I'm finally going first. I start with charge. Not the greatest mills.
Yeah, milling that many darks can be awkward for your like ability to have Dark Arm live later in the game.
Yeah, so I just T-set here, pass it back.
Gonna get a big think on whether or not to activate the Allure of Darkness, but he's gonna go for it. Draws into Kaiku. I know he has Plague.
He has Plague. I think that's a Sirocco as well, so 3 darks to choose from.
One of the reads that I've been trying to like be cognizant of is when someone takes a super long time to think about what to send with Allure of Darkness. You're like, okay, they have to have at least two, probably like 3 good targets that they're debating between if they're taking this long, because sometimes people just do it instantly, you know, and it's just like, okay, that was probably their only dark monster.
Right, and he sent back Plague, which is a really good card that you normally don't want to banish, so yeah, you have to think the rest of his hand, or the rest of his darks were really good. But I summon Vayu. If he has Deep Prison, I'm okay trading, because the Vayu is not really doing anything at the moment.
Interesting. So he can go this Kaiku's looking juicy. I wonder what he's thinking about here. Oh, okay, so he's gonna go for the Armageddon Knight though. I guess I don't really know what's in your graveyard, like as far as what's juicy to banish. Okay, he is gonna go for the Kaiku though.
Oh, that's also the reason I summoned the Vayu, because if he attacked it, then I already had the Sirocco in grave, so I would have been okay with that. But I summon Sirocco and attack into the Kaiku. It goes through.
Potentially greedy, not setting that Deep Prison. I know it feels bad to play into like heavy, but that Kaiku could have like, if it just kept walking, that could have been devastating.
Yeah, but here I summon Plague, and I'm just gonna go for a Black Rose play because he has 3 set cards, and he had a Torrential, which I found it odd that he didn't Torrential when I summoned the Plague, because he would have kept his back row. But
right.
Yeah, misplay there. But yeah, I just go for Vayu play, attack in with 23, set a back row.
Now it's looking pretty good. He's all out of like his back row. He's gonna just go Gale, half attack.
I'm checking his grave because I want to see how many darks he has. And I opt to deprison the Gale because I have Plague in grave, so I can just convert this Armed Wing with it. I think I have Armageddon Knight, so I'm thinking if I want to stack with Plague first or summon Armageddon first. But I have Crow and Necrogarda in hand, so I kind of want to keep those or draw them back. Yeah, here I go for the Plague.
What's the play here? Just Stardust or okay, Dark End to play around like Gores. Oh, you have game. Whoa.
Yeah, I have a game
Okay.
shot, so. But yeah, Gores is a card that I have to respect, but that was GG's.